We
It
almost
was
did
like
it.
there was
Almost
like
got
a subliminal Paul in the middle of that. Did you see that?
hmm
It quickly switched.
Well, I restarted it again, and then
Oh, I see.
yeah. But anyways, Paul. So before we get started, I want to take a live look at UWP, and I just want to confirm that everything is fine, and nothing says confidence like firemen just saving your
Just
house.
peeing on the outside of the house, basically. Yeah, that's going to solve the problem.
Yep.
Listen, I can assure you that every time something like this comes up, we're going to hear from the, you know, cold dead fingers crowd. Like, it's not dead. It's not dead.
Well,
It's not dead. It's,
it's already in the comments because to fill
oh, is it
everybody
really?
in this morning, and we'll talk about it a bit more in a bit detail, but specifically on this point, Microsoft announced a few details about PC Game Pass. And what they said is that, hey, we're not really going to support the UWP model. We're going to move to Win32. Win32 is what we like and love and all that good stuff. And so I wrote in my post, I said Microsoft has slowly been moving away from the UWP model, and this is one of the final blows to the framework. And somebody wrote, strange, I didn't read that anywhere else because nobody else is paying attention to realize that UWP is just not going to be a priority for Microsoft anymore.
Priorities. I just, can I just say this again? From the absolute top of the food chain at Microsoft, communicated privately, UWP is dead. It's not like an opinion. It's not a it's not a parsing of the language. It's dead. That's all.
Yeah.
It's dead.
See, the critics will say, Paul, but I can still go build a UWP app. Yes, you can still go run Windows XP.
Yes, you can. You could probably go still build a Windows 10 mobile app if you wanted to. You know, you can do all kinds of things with your time. DOSBox is a thing. You should build some DOS apps.
All plausible good Sunday afternoon activities.
This just came up recently, and I don't remember why. Someone on Twitter was asking about Charles Petzold, who was the guy that documented the Win32. Well, actually, back then it was the Win16 API, what we used to call just the Windows APIs. This is the pure C, bare bones, not as bare bones as assembly language, but basically the bare bones way of writing Windows apps in the 1990s. And he's retired and whatever. And it caused me to go back and reread something that I'd written about him on the anniversary of, I think it's Visual Studio a couple of years ago. Anyway, that's that stuff, Win32, it's back, baby. I mean, it's back big time. And it's not just gaming, right? Microsoft has finally conceded, people just use this stuff. It can't, it can want a certain future, all it, wants. But that's not going to make it happen. And this is just Microsoft conceding to the reality.
Yep. And so the other kind of news, which quite frankly, I was a little bummed to read about because I'm working on an E3 post like I've done just about every year. And I've got some good, good laying the foundation. Whatever. And this was part of it. And Microsoft will announce PC Game Pass at E3 was part of it. Also the fact that it's going to be included in the Ultimate SKU of Game Pass for free. I mean, that wouldn't it be an ultimate thing if it didn't include all
if it wasn't ultimate,
yeah.
All the extras. What do you call them? All the extras, Brad?
Oh, I see where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the other part of it too is that they're also working on an application called codenamed Garrison, which is going to be, I believe, possibly the missing component that you're going to need to have on your PC to actually make the PC Game Pass experience work. Because they said you're going to be able to use all these games, but you got to remember you can't go to Steam and the Microsoft Store currently and use these apps. You need to pay for them.
Yeah.
And so I believe the Garrison app is going to be kind of Microsoft's new PC gaming centric thing. And that's where it's all going to kind of revolve out of.
So maybe you've heard, obviously the questions are starting to come in. Microsoft, Phil Spencer in this case, was pretty clear. But look, I know there are more details to communicate. We're going to do that at E3. And I think we all know that E3 is going to come and go without all the answers, the questions answered. But what about things like crossplay, right? Like, let's say you're playing an Xbox Game Pass game on the PC and you want to get into a multiplayer, whatever it is. Does that work outside of that ecosystem? I mean,
so the question that you're sort of asking but not asking, and you're right on the money, is what about Xbox Live? Because that is what you would need and kind of make all this stuff. So if you're paying for Ultimate, you're already paying for Live. What we don't know, and I haven't heard yet, is if there is just a PC Game Pass. So can you go pay $4.99 a month?
or whether it doesn't matter, right? In other words, well, I mean, Yeah. In other words, like a non-ultimate version where you're
Right.
just getting the
Because
PC.
if you don't have a console, then you don't
Yep.
need the Ultimate and you don't need Live. And then what are you paying on the
I,
PC?
I mean, I would imagine there would be. I
I
also
would
would
think so, but
imagine Microsoft had previously said, and I think they said this with regards to, I want to say it was something IoT or embedded, where they talked about the need to embrace third-party stores. It wouldn't all be through the Microsoft
Mhm.
store. And when they did that, I said, and we would have talked about this on Windows Weekly. You and I might have talked about it. I don't remember exactly, but at the time, I said, this is clearly the first step toward this happening on Xbox and Windows, right? That this is going to be true across the Microsoft ecosystem. It has to be. But if you kind of extract, and so we're seeing that, right? He basically announced that they're going to put the first-party games on Steam and other stores, probably the Epic Store, I would imagine, at some point. You have to kind of extrapolate that out to include the multiplayer experiences because, no one on the PC is playing PC games through Xbox Live today. I mean, basically nobody, right? So, every game publisher probably does this a little bit differently. I know some of them have their own formal structures. Some of them basically use servers where you can create a PC-based server. I have to think that stuff will work. Having a game on the PC but not allowing the people to participate in the native PC multiplayer experiences
right.
is not just a half measure. I mean, it kind of undercuts the whole point of it. I think they have to support that.
I think they do too. I think but the question is, will they make people on the PC pay for it, which it historically have not done.
Yeah. Look, I've always thought that Xbox Live Gold was a mistake. That charging people to play together online just never made a ton of sense. As we roll Xbox Live into this bigger subscription, I mean, to me, like this is the subscription going forward. Like maybe this is just the one tier, and that qualification sort of goes away because you're going to have this other thing. I just you can't do the PC is an open ecosystem. You can't do what you do on the lockdown platform. So I don't know. Maybe you just have that restriction on the platform, on the console. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Obviously, they haven't said, but I don't think you can participate in PC gaming and be locked down. By the way, that was the original one of the original points when Eric Sweeney was complaining like a madman about the Microsoft Store at the time, the Windows Store, the Xbox Store, right? That Microsoft was trying to dominate PC gaming. I think he was wrong about that, but it's like the Apple thing that's happening today with the App Store. I think what they really wanted was quality, blah blah blah, whatever. But ultimately, you can't close the door after the horse is gone, kind of thing. I mean, this is the PC world. You can't change that. I think.
Yeah. So June 9th, we will learn a lot more about that and probably the availability of everything. And hopefully, and then I believe a beta is launching not long, if not the day of E3. It's right around that time, at least it was supposed to. Actually, PC Game Pass, I believe, was originally supposed to launch, I want to say in January, something like that, like way earlier this year. But we all know how that worked out.
Because of travel, one of the topics I haven't written about is this PC gaming thing. I've been kind of looking into it. It just is kind of a little tip. If you're a PC gamer, it makes sense to check out the Epic Game Store. They're literally giving away a game every month, and that game is a good game.
Is it Fortnite?
Yeah, it's a free. No, actually, I think I have it on here. No, I guess I don't. Why don't I have Epic Game Store on here? I'm pretty sure I do. This is taking a long time. All right. Well, that was a good story, Paul.
Yeah.
No, yeah. You're getting your money's worth, people. Let me go to my account and see what I have in there because that will tell me. I don't know. All right. Well, this is not going well. I apologize. Yeah. Anyway, I have actually gotten the last 2 games that were on offer. I'm looking now to see if I can figure out. The one that's free now is called Rime. It's free through the 30th of May. I can never find, there's too many games in here, but one of the previous games was a game I had recommended on the Xbox, which is an awesome game. It was free. I think it was probably free back in April or whatever. Anyway, the point is, be sure to go to the Epic Game Store and just kind of check this thing out. They have good deals, and they have this free game every month. It's worthwhile. But I've also Doom is one of the early PC games, obviously one of the first really good shooters, and John Romero, one of the key members of that team at id that created the game, has released like what is essentially like the fourth or fifth or whatever it is, unofficial but kind of version of new levels and new episodes and everything. And I think it's coming out actually today, maybe, or tomorrow. It's free. It's called Sigil. You could look it up, like John Romero Sigil should help you find that. So I actually downloaded Doom from Good Old Games, where I bought it years ago, and then checked out different ways to run Doom on the PC, because there's like Z Doom, and then there's these other things. And honestly, like Doom is like, it's from like 1993. It can look really good on a PC today. It can look, I mean, it's surprisingly nice. So there's some interesting stuff there. Anyway, sorry, I've been traveling, so I haven't had, that was discombobulated. That's why I haven't read it yet, because I have no idea what I'm talking about.
It's not, at least we can agree on something. Anyways, the other big thing, which came out late yesterday, which I think is, I don't know, we've been talking about Google and them screwing over people, and then they reverted the change on Edge. So now if you go to YouTube, you get whatever, the full experience. There's some debate whether or not that was intentional. Regardless of that, what they announced, or they're making changes to some of their extension supports. And so they're going to make it not possible to use an extension to block ads unless you're a paying enterprise customer, which is, that's
Yep. So, right. They had revealed these plans some months ago. There was a bunch of complaints because the people who make the ad blockers basically said that there's no way for them to continue under this new model. So Google said, look, okay, we can push it back. Let's talk about it. We think this is a model that can work for everyone. We'll change it as necessary. And then they just kind of okay, now we're going to do it again. It's like, I guess the change they made is if you're paying for G Suite, you don't have to worry about it.
Right. So, which is,
it's not good.
Rich. I mean, that's this is the type of thing that I could see them getting in a lot of trouble over. It's, it's, I don't know.
I assume, no, I shouldn't assume. I was going to say there's probably a technical reason, or at least an excuse they can use to justify this change. Like a security violation,
that's
I would
not
imagine.
Like if you go read it, they're like, we're turning this off. If you want to,
I know. But if you go back and look at the original rationale, I wouldn't be surprised if there was I'm sure the business decision there was,
we make all our money via ads and we want to stop this.
Yeah, like we're gonna do what little we want to do inside the product ourselves, and what we really want to do is prevent the rampant blocking of ads, because that is our primary source of revenue. Yep.
Yeah. So if you like your ad block plus your uBlock origin, may I recommend Firefox? Actually, I'm assuming
what about the new Edge, right? So, I mean, this change.
How do they implement this?
This change will almost certainly be made. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, right? So you're right. So, is this change being made to Chromium, or is this change being made to Chrome? If it's being made to Chrome, that could be a big win for Microsoft.
Yep.
If it's being made to to Chromium, then, I don't know.
Yeah. I suspect
Microsoft can circumvent it.
I suspect it's probably Chromium.
Yeah, this is worth looking into, because I saw the headline about it and I saw what was happening, but at the time when they had kind of gone back and said, relax, we won't do anything without getting feedback, I kind of thought it was over. But I stopped paying attention, so it's not over.
Well, your ad blockers and your UWPs can go live on a nice little island. Live at
the island of unwanted technologies. Oh no, sorry. Ad blocking is a wanted technology. Abandoned technology.
I think abandoned. There's some other fun favorites over there too. Silverlight and
oh jeez, Zune.
Oh Zuni. Zuni. You got anything else for today, Mr. Paul? It's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all screwed up about that, which is good, actually. No, I don't think I'm going to have this video game thing ready anytime soon, but like I said, I am looking into it. No, I guess not. How about you?
Well, it's raining. I don't know. I just...
Oh, my God. We had 2 tornado watches and 4... how'd they word it? I can't see it anymore. It doesn't matter. But flash flooding, I think was what they called it. Warnings. And what I mean by that is 1 to 4 of my phones all sounded like a klaxon emergency sound all at the same time. It was like 6 different times yesterday. It was just the weirdest day. And I can't, emergency. I can see them all stacked up on iOS because the way they stack notifications. Emergency alert, flash flood warning this area till 9:15 p.m. Flash flood warning this area till 8:45 p.m. Flash forward until 6:45 p.m. Tornado warning in this area till 3:45. Like it just keeps going and going. And it's like, yikes. So it did flood. Not a flash flood, but we always get flooding here.
Basement still dry?
You know what? I should probably go look at that. Now that you mention it.
Well,
I have not been down there. Hopefully it's not underwater.
while Paul go checks out his basement, you can find us at Shift Happens in a couple weeks here in Washington, D.C. You can find the link down below. If nothing else, we'll catch you guys right back here tomorrow, which should be a live show at 1 p.m. Eastern time because today is Thursday, as I said 2 minutes ago, but I already forgot. Have yourselves a wonderful Thursday.